All right, take two. How goes it? Ken Bozak here to talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin accessories. Again, we had some technical difficulties earlier. I'm here with my crypto Twitter bro, Crypto Joey. He's here from SAFeth. It's a ERC20 token. He's going to get into that, but we wanted to talk a little bit about him, the space, and etc. Sorry, I'm a little disheveled. We just had to restart the live stream, so I got my eyes on head all over the place over here. Joey, while I'm fixing everything on the live stream, why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are, what you do, and maybe a little bit about how you got into this space with cryptocurrencies.
I will try again. Okay, I'm Joey Crypto. I'm the CEO of SAFeth, like Ethereum, Safe Ethereum. We are an ERC20 smart contract based off of Salt Lending. Our platform will be coming around hopefully in the near future here. And what we are trying to do is create automated, decentralized lending that has self-paying off loans. The way we're doing this is taking collateral that produces dividends so that those dividends actually pay your payments off. The idea behind it is pretty much, wouldn't it be nice to buy that new car and not make the payments? Pretty simple as that. And we're going to extend it out even beyond that, but this is just like the small beginnings of things. So we're going to start off with like consumer lending. I think that's the best way.
That's interesting. All right, so what inspired all this? Like, where's the beginnings of this start from?
The beginnings start from a Ouija board, as crazy as that sounds. We kind of started that in the last, but I'll get back into it because we got cut off early. So back in 2012, you know, we had a Ouija board and it was telling us some cool stuff, and you know, some of the stuff was right, and we tested it out. Come 2015. It had told us to get into Bitcoin, and we said, okay, you know, and then it told us to buy Ethereum as well. So it also told us to buy Ripple. It told us to buy a few other tokens too.
Oh man, and it said Ripple, bad Ouija.
I know, I didn't like Ripple either. I'm not a fan of Ripple. Let's not even get into that one, because Ripple is banks, you know. But it did say it was going to do well, you know, and we bought it in sub a penny. So I couldn't complain, you know.
Nice. So how long have you been in this space?
Since 2015, you know. Probably the summer of 2015 is when we started buying heavily. It was around 250 a Bitcoin.
Yeah, I got in around the end of 2015. I think it was like 400 a Bitcoin.
Yeah, it grew a little bit before. And that's, I mean, we jumped in right at the end of that. Or at the beginning of the last bull, right after the Mt. Gox flop.
Right, yeah. Things were over, I think, 1100 at that time. And then when you were in at 250, that was, I guess, it's previous from the previous all-time high. It was its new all-time high of 250. So that was a pretty big risk to take.
Yeah, it was actually, you know, like if the Ouija board hadn't been telling us this stuff and been right so many times, I probably would have passed it over, because I was a heavy, you know, I was into hard metals. You know, I liked physical assets.
Did you use the Ouija board for your precious metals and stuff like that?
It actually did tell us to buy silver and gold too back in 2009. So that's what got us initially into that, and it did really well because it went to it was like $50 or so, or almost $50, and we were doing great during that time too.
That's
so
pretty interesting. What inspired you to even use a Ouija board for financial advice? Is there any like past relatives that were like Warren Buffett-esque that you're channeling in?
My wife, man, she I mean, the stories this thing has told us about our past lives and stuff, it's really interesting. I would not have guessed the things it told us, but apparently you know, she was rich in her last life, and I was a peasant, I guess, and we had married, and she was with somebody else, and she was already a witch, and you know, these kind of things. You know, a lot of people think it's like storybook kind of crap, and I did most of my life until I started seeing this shit happen, and it really shocks me, you know. So I understand why people get weirded by it or think it's bizarre, you know, and I did too at first. I was like, this thing's nuts, like, get out of here. Until one day it actually found my keys for me, and then it started finding other things for me, and I was like, holy crap, there's more to this. This is not just It's not a coincidence.
That is pretty freaking cool. It is weird, but weird is cool. And you know, it's when people get weirded out by shit, it's lack of their own open-mindedness, shit
I
like
agree.
that. So what made you stumble onto blockchain technology? Like, were you looking for anything in particular? How did that rabbit hole journey start?
Well, I've always been kind of a computer tech, like a nerd. I went to college for graphic design and computer science and stuff. And so I was already interested, in computer tech. I was pretty familiar with BitTorrent and way back in the day with BearShare and all that kind of stuff, torrent sharing and things. And it dawned, that the technology was going to change the world. I was always into, kind of against the banks, against the Federal Reserve System. So when I saw this, I said, well, that's right up the alley. That's the thing that could do it, That's the one thing I don't think they can grab, but I think they can. It's just in a different sense.
Right. Now, same here. It was more like a financial political move than an investor type of move. I was always thinking like, well, fuck the banks, not like, oh, I'm going to make more fiat.
Right.
Yeah, so you started getting into the industry, into the space, and recently there's a lot of controversy surrounding you and safex, and you've come out with SAFeth, which uses the safex token as a collateral on the platform. Can you touch on a little bit of controversy there and how, like, maybe it ties into what you're using their token for on your platform? And I guess it's like it's fair to say it's similar to like salt lending, stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Other than the fact that we use their token or will be using their token for collateral, we do not have any other affiliations with them. I think our logo, I think they're worried it bears a similarness to it, but it also bears a likeness to Ethereum as well. I believe these are, things that are workable through, but not, I think it's more or less to just kind of explain the combination of the two tokens. And that's what we're doing. We're basically going to use the safex token. We're going to have a lock setting. We'll use their own wallets in our platform, just like Salt Lending kind of uses the Bitcoin wallet. I think they even accept Litecoin and a few others now as well. So it's really no different than this. It's really an opportunity to automate lending. So that you don't like, 'cause, personally, I don't like having a bill over my head every month, and even if you take out a loan with Salt Lending, you're going to have to go and make a payment, and we're not doing what they're doing. We're not giving out fiat to people. We would be lending out our token, SAFeth token, kind of like in a finger hut kind of method at first, where you can use it on our market to buy decentralized, well, I guess not decentralized, but to buy using crypto. And we will be working into making a decentralized version of our web-based platform.
So are you looking at being audited by any blockchain companies that do like smart contract auditing? I know Hosho in Vegas is one. I've seen a lot of their project and a lot of what they do when it comes to auditing projects that say that they're doing what you're doing, and you have to go through all this regulatory bullshit because it does come down to mandatory KYC, money laundering, things like this that you have to worry about. What's that process been? Have you been looking forward to going and getting through all this?
It's been really exciting, actually. I mean, I did kind of some of this stuff. There's a few other tokens like I've done design for, and they're not really reputable, but I did do some design work for Litecoin a while back, and so I kind of did some research into what had to be done, to make yourself legit. And as a lending token, we have a lot of hills, to climb before we can fully launch our platform and everything. But this is something that we've been looking into. We've been in talks with SelfKey. They're another ERC20 token. They have an excellent wallet for holding identification and documents for KYC, and they have a chain called the KYC chain, which actually we were talking to them just the other day about how to go about doing the know your customer situation through them. And there's a few others as well. But currently, I think what we're doing right now is with a token of trust. platform, and pretty much you submit a few documents, and it's not all completely set up yet, but it is in the process of right now.
So you're currently in ICO, right? Right now, people can invest in it, or I saw like there was a tweet out with an address, a receiving address.
Yeah, it's a pre-sale, not an ICO yet. What we're gonna do is we won't be ICOing until next year. This is kind of like to test the waters to see what demand is right now, because there's really no.
You worry about any of the regulatory blowback of doing anything like this? Because in the U.S., it's sketchy. A lot of even decentralized platforms have been hit from, the SEC recently. And being a public person doing a pre-sale of a token, you got to be a little worried.
A little bit, but again, we got to remember it's America. Okay, we have rights. So here, I'll do every thing I have to do to make everything legit as humanly possible. From the know your customer to all the regulation and documentation that needs to be done on our situation and token here. But as of right now, I would kind of look at our setup as almost a mock-up because we have no real platform working, and we have not deployed any tokens yet. So,
all right, yeah. So
kind of like a business proposal.
All right, just so I wanted to touch on a little bit about the safex bad blood and where did that come from? Because I've seen you on crypto Twitter tweeting about them, and I've never really seen anything negative from you about that. But I've been message from the safex team saying, that this guy slanders safex, and I was looking through your history on Twitter and I couldn't find much slander or anything. So I don't know. I just wanted to figure out where's this bad blood come from, because it looked like you were heavily promoting it and still are on the side of the you're building a platform dependent on the success of their platform.
Of safex, yes. And that's the funny thing about it is there's a lot of unruly characters on the internet these days, I can't say that it has anything to do with the team. I've always been a big fan of the team, always been a big fan of, their work, the idea behind it. Like I said, I've been behind them since 19 Satoshis. I even interviewed their CEO, and it went really well.
Daniel, right?
Yeah, Daniel DeBeck. And yeah. He was kind, real nice gentleman. But then all of a sudden there were some turns because of their Discord, I suppose. And people got into some mischief. They were saying a lot of things about me that were inappropriate and posting things that were. And I took a stand. I wasn't going to have it because it involved my wife too. And I don't appreciate that kind of stuff. So when it happened, I kind of let it go. But they, my name just keeps getting brought back up. So I stand up for myself. That's about it.
No publicity is bad publicity right there. You know what I mean? No. So, the fact that they're talking about you.
I don't even mind. I don't even mind. I kind of laugh at it. I think it's a joke, how upset they get at me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I see the trolls in the comment section saying shit about crack pipes and stuff, and I'm like, we smoke weed.
Yeah,
we have a bowl maybe. I got a celebratory cigar.
They're from Australia, bro, and down in Australia, they fear the reefer.
Oh,
it's reefer madness down there.
Dude, Australia has always been one of those things that blows my mind when you look at the history of Australia and how it became the civilized nation that it is from the
from
fucking utter chaos.
Right, yeah, and they were all, like the dissidents from England thrown down there.
True degenerates, scumbags of the earth. That's
so then it's like...
They don't want to talk about that, though. But, look at where you've come from. And look at where you are. As Australia is one of the first world nations to outlaw handguns as a nation, and look at where they're at right now because of that. But where they've come from, I feel like that they should embrace their true heritage of being the scumbag. No, dude, it was straight up scumbags, man. There was pirates would send people, and other governments would just send the worst people to this place. And they decided to create a trade with the world trade because they were in a great situation for that. And then they decided to just create laws and and they used self-governance to build a government that was just bravo, Australia. But you're all a little uptight now. You Nazis.
Get a couple guns.
Yeah,
They're good for you.
yeah, just a few. I mean, Jesus. But no, it was cool though. Their history from then till now is really cool.
It does kind of give you a feel for their culture, you
Yeah.
know. So that's kind of where I think that's all this hate is coming from. But it's all right. It doesn't bother me, you know. I'm a pretty upbeat guy about the uptightness, so I don't really, you know, it doesn't bother me too much. It only kind of gets to me once in a while, and I try to just take away, you know, whatever.
Whenever anyone in this space tries to become uptight, I intentionally try to loosen them up. I'm just like, listen, guys.
I think of Roger. I think of Roger every time. I can't help it.
It ain't so serious, all right? It's not that
life is
serious.
short.
Yeah, you'll never make it out alive if you take it that serious.
Nobody makes it out alive, Ken. Nobody. Ken with a double N.
So safex is a decentralized marketplace that doesn't quite exist yet right now. It's still in the
Yeah,
works.
they're kind of doing a launch, right?
Right.
Like right now, I think they're in the middle. They're in the middle of migrating from an old Bitcoin safe exchange coin to the new safex token.
Okay.
And so that safex token will bear dividends in the name of safex cash, and that's how we're accepting our payments.
So if I'm holding safex, depending on how much safex I'm holding, I'll earn safex cash while people are using the platform for the decentralized marketplace. So transaction fees will pay my dividends through this.
Yes, through a 5% fee through every transaction. It's an amazing system.
It's
you know,
5% transaction fee. So what percentage goes to the network? What percentage goes to the stakeholders? What percentage goes back into the company? Do you know any of this?
So I'm pretty sure that it's pretty much divvied out by that 5% only goes to the safex token holders proportionately to what they're holding. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
So the more you're holding, is it doing this again?
No, we're good. We're good. Oh no, we were good. We were good. I wanted to dive into decentralized marketplaces and how things like Silk Road truly inspired this concept. And, you know, it does fuel the use case of Bitcoin, right? Or cryptocurrencies. This decentralized currency that is really, as end users, we're asking central points of markets to adopt, right? We're asking, hey, Walmart, adopt this decentralized currency. It doesn't really benefit them, right? So I do see a lot of use in like utility tokens when it comes to things like, you know, stores accepting their own token for reasons that you hold, say, the safex and you get safex cash. You hold Walmart token, you get Walmart cash or whatever, you know? Reasons to keep your currency in their economy. But to truly push for decentralization, we have to have these decentralized marketplaces, get rid of the central points of marketplaces. And it's really cool to, you know, it started from the Silk Road, you know, from the bottom, and now we're here where it's more legit and people want to see platforms like decentralized marketplaces exist. Where are we at? I hear him calling. Let's see if that works. Sorry about this, guys. Hey, there you go.
Hey, sorry about that.
Hey,
Again,
dude, no worries, man.
Another weird internet fart.
So I just wanted to recap and bring you where I kind of was with the audience there a second ago. I was just wondering what your thoughts are on, you know, decentralized marketplaces and how like things like Silk Road kind of inspired this concept of, you know, a trustless and verified, anonymous, decentralized ability to trade goods and services for this also matching decentralized anonymous currency. It's, you know, it goes hand in hand. Without something like Silk Road, we wouldn't really have a use or a need for this currency other than asking centralized marketplaces to accept our decentralized currencies.
Right. And that, you know, that's the whole key to freeing everything from the Federal Reserve System. is a decentralized marketplace. There can't be you can't expect that we're going to be able to use okay, the old saying, when one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. That's kind of the thing here. It will be that way with a market that accepts them. That's what the only thing we're really doing. We're trying to promote the idea of using Bitcoin directly. Don't go cash out in a fiat. When you do that and you cash it out in a fiat, you're actually empowering the government, the Federal Reserve System. Okay. Yep. John McAfee understands that too. I think that's why he has spoken highly about safex and is a safex holder too, because I think he knows, and it's not just, people aren't just thinking about the drug market, but that's something that we're going to have to face. That's
the drug
a new
market
for the
should have a place.
You
know what I mean? I totally agree that, things like Silk Road gave a there we go, we lost him again. But yeah, like I was saying, places like Silk Road, they made it possible for people that wanted to indulge or even medicate or go on a spiritual journey, a safer way to do so than back alleys dealing with cash and possibly guns and knives involved. The fact that the government is regulating heavily on the drug market flourishes the possibilities of using decentralized means of market, right? It's a cause and effect there. Let's see if we can try to call him in again. Might possibly have to cut this short, guys. Sorry again. But hey, if you want to come on the podcast and just shoot the shit, talk about crypto, video games, sex work, gambling, drugs, rock and roll, what the fuck ever, go over to my Twitter at Kenneth Bozak, and you can click on that link. I'll probably put a link in the description box below. You can click on that link and you can come on the podcast and we can do a chat whenever. Alright, you just got yourself blocked, American Crypto, because you're being a douchebag. Hey, dude, how goes it?
Oh, it goes. This is my normal life, brother.
Keeps going.
Yeah. There are some tricky people out there in this little internet world. It's funny is I have a brand new router.
Oh, really?
Yes, brand new, right out of the box.
That's a bummer, bro. Oh, wait, I'm hearing a bit of a relay there. Alright, it went away. That's weird. Oh, you know what? You probably took your headphones out. No worries, though. So, I wanted to talk again, catch up on where we left off with the drug market, because that is an entire economy that needs a decentralized marketplace because it has no other marketplace. Also, even pharmaceutical drugs have now been forged and faked and could be harmful if not dangerous, and just for people to get illegally. And I'm not talking about just from Molly, MDMA, ecstasy, and cannabis. I'm talking birth control in some places. It's not legal. Even fucking antibiotics, dude. You can't get antibiotics over the counter. You have to have insurance, then you have to pay a doctor for the doctor to give you a prescription to then go pay the pharmacist another fee. So there's a lot of barriers to entry and costs to getting medication when you're sick, and even then you're at risk of getting fake stuff, whatever, and you go off black market, and now you're probably not even getting anything close to what you thought you were getting. You're getting ripped off or robbed. So there's a huge need for a verified, reputation-based marketplace for drugs in general, pharmaceuticals, from psychedelics to medical, and they from everything.
You're right. They shouldn't try to be hiding it. They should be trying to, figure out who's doing it right, and that makes sense to keep people safe. And that's what we're not seeing on things like, or what it was, the Alpha Bay, or, those drug markets that were on dark web. That's the kind of thing that you didn't see. People die from, everybody wants to make a quick buck out there, right? But that's somebody's got to be in charge of it. Somebody's got to be saying, no, this person is good.
Yeah, and that's why we build these
And
decentralized platforms where people earn reputation based on their interactions
precisely.
with the environment. You start from the, a trade here, and you work your way up to bigger trades, bigger reputations. But people, even, what was it, Backpage? Backpage was shut down recently,
Yeah.
and it heavily affected the sex worker industry. More women have been assaulted, and men have been assaulted, victimized, abused since the downside, because people would go to this place and give their Johns, for lack of a better word, I'd say, a review. And people could say that this is a trustworthy person to be with in
Right.
private, or, hey, maybe avoid this
Watch
person.
out, they're gonna kill you. Yeah.
Exactly, but they lost that ability to build a reputation-based economy, and that's why I like these concepts of decentralized marketplaces, and I support them. Maybe not financially. I openly and publicly do not hold safex. I don't invest in any of those platforms personally, but I will be the first user to go on there and try to contribute as far as rating, reviewing, and maybe even purchasing.
Absolutely.
But but everybody has a place in that, and maybe you have some old, penicillin in your cabinet, and you could save a life in Venezuela and earn some Satoshis on it. It's very empowering stuff.
Yeah, and that's the biggest part about the blockchain. I mean, we literally break borders down because now there's a way to do things where you couldn't do it before. You couldn't even get a hold of somebody in Venezuela.
My favorite thing to say is I can send $1 million to a guy in North Korea and nobody can stop me because Bitcoin, bitch.
Not even Donald Trump.
Nobody. Nothing.
Nobody.
I may see recourse if I get caught because Bitcoin isn't truly anonymous. It's anonymous at best, based on the actions, VPN, and all this stuff, and you want to make sure you're using
That's where safex is coming in. Okay, so another aspect of their token is that it performs ghost transactions.
Could you explain ghost transactions a little bit? Because a lot of people aren't familiar with anything except for completely anonymous or synonymous transactions.
Okay, from what I understand, the ghost transactions involved, I don't think you can look up anybody's specific safex cache address using any way form, so you can't go see anybody's balances. Now, you can ghost transaction means it won't show up on the network, but you can still get a transaction verification to give to the recipient.
So how would that work on a public ledger where you wouldn't be able to see the sending address to do a back check on? Because if I send you any cryptocurrency, you'd be able to see in your receiving address the sending, and then you should be able to look into that sending address and see the transactions that have been in and out and be able to do
I guess this is a complete intention for complete anonymity. You have the option of doing this or not doing it.
I like having that opt-in, opt-out, and not having been told what to do, especially when it comes to anonymity and a lot of companies and projects won't use something if they have to be anonymous because of regulations. They have certain obligations to uphold with foregoing financial transactions. So if it's too private, depending on what state and country you're in, you may already be, out of an option because you're private. They can't even use you. That's why I have mixed feelings about my Monero and my Dash, because I see the Monero privacy being so thick that it really appeals to the cartel, not so much the banks. The banks can go with some privacy when they opt into business-to-business transactions or larger amounts where people are, paying for this with probably like an auditor right in the same room when they send millions of dollars and Dash through a private InstaSend.
Have you heard of the Paradise Papers, Ken?
No, what's that?
The Paradise Papers is some papers that were released. I guess they were not released. They were found and distributed to people. But they were showing how all these major companies and government heads were trying to do backdoor deals and in very large numbers. And some of them being companies as well known as like Microsoft and stuff. So, yeah, you should look into the Paradise Papers because I think that, everybody has the need for anonymity. I think we're just looking at a power struggle right now,
Yeah, they don't want us all to have the power of anonymity at all.
and they don't want us to be able to do
Not
it.
at fucking all. That's actually what scares them the most. They don't. I feel like regulators and government officials, all these people in power, they could really care less about the decentralization aspect of the freedom of sending the money wherever. What they don't like is not knowing who owns what and how much of what and who's doing what with who, and that's where they're just going to. And with Chainalysis and what Binance is doing by incorporating Chainalysis, a lot of these companies and these centralized wallets are utilizing Chainalysis to help build this NSA level of like blockchain data, where they're going to be able to figure out from any point in time who's who, what wallet. I feel like we're going to lose anonymity in the future coming soon. We're not going to have it because that's what they're going to fight for. They can't stop decentralization. They can't stop open source, but they can stop anonymity. They can unless we
can try. They sure can
we
try.
We need a decentralized internet is what we really need.
The worst part is the biometrics, because you're going to have a real hard time hacking biometrics in the future.
Oh, and that would be the KYC. Facebook mandatory biometric login. Where you have to log in on a device that's connected to the internet, either retina or fingerprint, for sure. And they're gonna tell you in the terms and services that it's for your safety. We've upgraded and we've made this mandatory. And then now Facebook owns everybody's fingerprint, which I'm sure they have, but they can't use, right? They have to wait till they have everyone's permission. So, that's what they're going to do. That's Security Theater 101.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You see it everywhere, too, not just Facebook. I mean, even Twitter's a little bit better about it, but I wouldn't. They're all collecting your data.
Well, Jack's more likely. I feel everyone's thinking, oh, Facebook's going to buy Coinbase and Facebook's going to do this with their own coin. And I really feel like Jack is the one who may make that first move when it comes to incorporating an incentive rewards mechanism for Twitter, for like you could maybe upvote with a Twitter token or something on somebody's tweet, or retweet it with some kind of power currency behind it.
Tip bot.
Yeah, something Twitter's gonna, because so many are already built on Twitter. Those Twitter tip bots are powerful. I mean, dude, imagine the power of a charity starting a Twitter account and then being able to accept, what already has. I mean, Ripple has one, Bitcoin Cash has one, Ethereum has that ethtweet.me. That's a really cool one, or ethtweetme. There's so many ways on Twitter alone to send, value from one person to another. I'm really waiting for these charities that use GoFundMe and Kickstarter to just start a Twitter account, use Periscope, and use proof of charity. Like, show me on a live stream that you need this and that you're receiving it and that you're using it. You know what I mean? Like,
and that would be the best way to do it, because how better else could you help somebody and know you've been helping them?
And in third world countries,
your money doesn't go where it needs to go.
Never has, never will. It's such a for-profit charity. It's not a charity. It's a business, and they run it like a damn business.
Salvation Army. Have you ever walked into a Salvation Army and got anything for free?
No, and unfortunately, I do shop at like Salvation Armies and thrift stores and stuff to stay thrifty and frugal in this bear market. But I do know that they're not the most supportive. I mean, the Salvation Army isn't even part of the Salvation Army like that. It's just a really cool name. Like the Federal Reserve has nothing to do with the federal government, just a fancy name. So it is market manipulation in a sense. But it's almost
manipulation. Remember, they're after your mind.
Yeah, well, once they have your perspective, they can pretty much guide you to their agenda very easily.
That's pretty much what you see on the entire computer, tele, everything, everywhere you go. I mean, that's everything. Open a magazine, they're telling you how to dress, what to wear, how to behave, everything.
Yeah, especially I don't know. Recently, I'm starting to see that kind of spew into crypto, where at World CryptoCon even, and Money 2020 and all these other events, people were ragging on the people in crypto, like myself, who kind of dress a little colorful and saying it makes crypto look bad. I'm like, you thinking crypto looks bad makes crypto look bad.
Makes crypto look bad, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't need anybody to look good and talk about it, or look bad, or dress up, or people are like,
people make the dollar look bad.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. You know, it's funny because like as soon as I was at Money 2020 in Vegas recently, I saw the Federal Reserve had a booth. They were promoting themselves at Money 2020.
Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
no, dude, it was like. So I was sitting there walking by and I had to do a double take and I was like, wait, I was like, you're the Federal Reserve, and they're like, yeah, we're the Federal Reserve. I'm like, straight up, you're here.
Oh, I would have had a field day with that one.
So yeah, I made a little video and I was like, you know, the Federal Reserve is a scam. They're not a federal entity, and if you actually looked into it, since recent audits, they haven't reserved much of anything. They have contributed to the biggest interest deficit ever. Like they just inflate they're the
Our system
evilest
could not
evil.
exist without debt. It's impossible for our system to see. That's why you have to pay back more than
So you know we're
100%
really
of what your loan is.
You know we're really successful then if we're at a $20 trillion debt, right? Like we're just killing it then.
Oh yeah, we need to
We're
get
the
that thing up
best.
to 100 trillion. It's all right. We'll be great.
Yeah, but you know what though? It's great until Venezuela, until Venezuela and Brazil and Iran and all these other countries start trading digital currencies for oil and opting out of the petrodollar, because that's what's
Give it a
happening.
minute. That's
Wasn't
all it's
it-
going to take.
Was
is a
it
minute.
Russia or Germany that recently said that they're looking to leave the SWIFT banking language and system?
I think it was Germany, but hey, don't quote me on it.
Yeah, it could have been Germany. It could have been Russia. It's one or the other. But yeah, government in Venezuela created the Petro coin, which is a centralized piece of shit, but it's still an experiment in the right direction. If you're asking me, at least they're
One step.
trying. And Dash has capitalized on that very well in Venezuela. I think they're at like 3,000 merchants accepting Dash now because the government tried to introduce this currency that was a cryptocurrency that didn't really take off in their own country. And then Dash was like, hey, remember that shitcoin? Well, we got one too. And they like showed them how to use it.
Yeah, and you know that's what's going to happen over and over again. That's just an example because people ultimately aren't going to choose the government shitcoin. You know,
And that's the thing. We got the choice. They can't. I mean, they can only control the ins and outs, right? I mean, if you go to a local business now, like a tattoo shop or a barber shop, you can get a cash, transaction that isn't taxed. They won't say nothing to nobody.
Oh, yeah.
And in the future, that will be the equivalent of saying no to the centralized government cryptocurrency and saying yes to the decentralized Bitcoin or whatever it is that they prefer to accept without the tax transaction under the table. And they don't.
Craigslist kind of does that for cash right now. You know,
Craigslist does it for Bitcoin. Did you see this?
Yeah, and cryptocurrency accepted. Yeah, and that they're gonna move towards more cryptocurrency too. So when people see Craigslist 5 years from now, don't be surprised when they have wallets.
Dude, I'm such a fan of blockchain. I want to tokenize everything. Craigslist will have their own token because they have the community in.
Craig Wright's a
Craigslist.
genius. He knows what he's doing.
Craigslist?
Yeah, Craig Wright, the owner.
Craig Wright owns Craigslist?
Or not Craig Wright, I'm sorry, Craig,
I was
what's
so
his name?
lost. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had his name on, yeah, it got him on my Twitter, too. I was just thinking about Craig Wright.
Oh man, I'm always thinking about that guy. But like in a 1960s cartoon, like anvil landing on someone's head kind of way. Like I don't want him to die. I just want to see him fall down an up escalator, and I want to see him hurt in a comical way. But yeah, fuck that guy. Have you been checking on that fork recently? It's kind of a non-event shit show. He's promised so much and delivered nothing.
Yeah, I've kind of been following on Twitter here, and I like the popcorn and Michael Jackson thing, just kind of sitting back, watching and smiling because it's just so much drama going on right there. It's ridiculous. Oh, Craig Newmark, that's the owner of Craigslist. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I could see them tokenizing that platform with the community they have and the reputation that has been built on all the users, as far as buyers and sellers and all of that.
Well, if they decentralize their website, they turn an application out that says this is Craigslist app. Okay.
Right, but
now you can use this on your desktop. It's decentralized.
Yeah,
Totally
but from a
possible.
business aspect, that's stupid. You know what I mean? So now we have to figure out how to STO, get people an airdrop as a fair users, do burns. This is the future of companies' conversations that they're going to have, because they're going to want to decentralize, because somebody's going to take your baby, they're going to open source it, they're going to decentralize it, they're going to copy and paste it, and they're going to make it, 100 times, and people are going to choose which ones they want to use. And if you want them to use yours first, you got to be the first to decentralize and open source your shit and build the reputation now. First, early mover advantage, like, the Facebook, the MySpace situations, you got to be early to it. I don't want to see, or I do kind of want to see like these garage ideas, like, these ICO Bezos ideas, these projects similar to like what you're doing. If it does work out, fucking A, good for you, good for everybody benefiting from its existence. But, for the ability to do something like that, it's pretty huge. I just I don't know if I want to see already successful companies move in, or if I want to see ideas become more successful and overthrow. And we lost Joe again. All right, we're gonna try this one more time, and yeah, we're gonna wrap things up, I guess, coming up in the next couple minutes. Yeah, Crypto Joe's a pretty weird dude. Know him from Crypto Twitter. I've seen one or two of his YouTube videos with the Ouija board and his wife, and it is really fun stuff. It's pretty cool if you're into, weird. Yeah, I'm a weird dude myself. Yeah, smoke a blunt, check him out, check out his videos. Don't know much about safex other than it is a decentralized marketplace that is building its platform still. It doesn't exist yet. And what Joe is doing is building SAFeth, which is a platform that also doesn't exist yet, that will be using the safex token as a way for collateral on the platform, similar to like salt lending. Hey, there you go. All right, cool. Just trying to do like a recap of everything. So, again, just a recap. Why don't you let everybody know again a little bit about like who you are, what you're doing in this space, what you're going to be doing moving forward with SAFeth, and yeah, where they can find you and your content.
Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be decentralized lending, and we're going to do this in a way that will automate your payments. And hopefully, I'm not going to give any projections because I never like giving projections, especially because I could be wrong on when things happen and things like that. I just kind of take it as it comes. But what we're trying to do is we're going to try to have this accomplished, and we're doing this over at safexmarket.io. That's safexmarket.io. So
is that related to safex, the project?
No, it's just the URL.
Oh, so are you semi-trolling them? Because it sounds like it.
I would no. It's because we only accept safex as collateral.
Oh, that makes sense then. Yeah. So you're not even doing Bitcoin or Ethereum even.
No, absolutely not. We will not be accepting Bitcoin, Litecoin, Doji, nothing for collateral, but the safex token. Not even safex cash, just the safex token. And
so from there on the platform, if I'm holding safex token, what's my benefit?
You will receive your choice. You'll be able to choose. We're kind of leveraging against safex tokens, so you'll be able to, depending on how much you put in, be able to pull out twice as much in SAFeth, or 5 times as much, or 10 times as much in SAFeth, and it'll depend on the interest rate too that you want and how long you need it for.
All right, and so both of these currencies, though, are volatile. So safex would have one volatility, and safeth would have a corresponding, totally different volatility. How would that balance out? Is it sustainable, or is it financially beneficial to give up safex for another token? Is it? I'm just saying, is it based on like the amount of safeth, or is it based on the value of it corresponding to the value of safex?
I would say that they both will have different values because they work totally different and on different platform. Ours will be more valued. You'll be able to.
Damn it. I wanted to know. All right, well, we'll figure this out. Might have to do one of these, pre-record it, and then upload it later and do editing. But yeah, I just wanted to figure out exactly how the SAFeth token will be used as opposed to the safex token on the decentralized marketplace. Like, why would I? Because I could earn safex cash if I hold safex on the safex platform, right? So as people use the decentralized marketplace, I can earn safex cash because of the 5% transaction fees and blah, blah, blah. But will SAFeth have any use? You know what I mean? Like, why would I want to give up my safex and instead of get safex cash, get SAFeth? I don't know. It kind of... There you go.
Yeah, I just put you on my cellular network.
All right, so what I was
won't be able
saying
to
to the
listen to
audience was I was just curious, what's the incentive? You see the incentive on the SafeX platform to hold SafeX and get SafeX cash because it's recognized on the platform that's a decentralized marketplace. It has liquidity. What kind of utility or liquidity does SAFeth offer? Why would I use SafeX on your platform and earn Safeeth instead of just staking it on SafeX and getting SafeX cash? That's like, what's the cause and effect?
You'll get, okay, so say you stake a few tokens of SafeX and you get a few tokens of SafeX cash. What we're offering is, say, 10 times what you would get. So instead of having to wait to get that money in SafeX cash, you can put it over at our platform and have an alternative base to use to shop with. And that it would be like credit on the blockchain.
So, okay, so you're going to have a decentralized marketplace, like a competing decentralized marketplace where SAFeth would be recognized for goods?
We're not going to be competing. We will be also found on their marketplace as well. So you'll be able to open...
Okay, like a store on a marketplace.
So like an eBay.
Like a mall. It's like a mall. And you have other stores inside.
Or like an Amazon where you can open an account. They call them title markets. We will have our own title market there as well. Our store right now is just because that doesn't exist.
So that's kind of what I've been talking about on a few of my other interviews where, you know, people have to figure out how do you incentivize people to hold a value in your economy. You know, if you have a strip mall, a mini mall, or anything like that where there's multiple businesses in a small location that all pay the same tenant, you know, they're all, or the landlord, they're all the same tenant, different tenants of the same landlord. The money all goes to the same place. How do they build a way for customers to keep value in a pot? And that's sort of like what that sounds similar to, like a decentralized marketplace like SafeX. And then you could build these other economies, a sub-economy that has their own agreements within that governance.
Yes. And I don't even think the most of their community even realizes the full potential of their token yet. It's kind of like Ethereum. You know, when Ethereum came out, nobody saw that you were going to build a whole bunch of other companies on the Ethereum blockchain, you know. But all of a sudden, after it started blowing up, and it started blowing up because all these companies started coming in. You know, you started seeing, you know, things like Veritasium and Populous and, you know, Salt Lending and, you know, just a ton of ERC20 tokens. And that's what started that soaring off and made it into an ecosystem.
Even Salt Lending kind of left us in a, you know, with a bad taste in our mouth for the ironic term of use.
Give them time. Give them time. Everybody goes through some growing pains. And from what I understand, my personal opinion, they'll be over $200 a token eventually.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, well, Salt, if they do what they promised and said they were going to do, I see that they do have the potential.
They have to automate. When they automate, I see that possible.
Yeah, but is that something that's in their legal ability as a company? That's why I feel like people need to stop trying to be the fucking in the limelight too much, man. These need to be decentralized, anonymous projects because I worry about the...
You see, if you don't test these laws and you don't try to push and change them, then they'll never get changed.
That's true too. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. You gotta push back in order to set the line a little farther than when they drew it last.
Part of being American, man.
All right, so I guess we're gonna wrap things up before the powers that be try to disconnect us again here on Skype.
Again?
Yeah, man. I gotta ask the Ouija board for forgiveness.
I'm the most hated person on the internet.
Well, I love you, bro. You're weird enough to come on my show anytime you want. I'm gonna check out more into SAFex. I know that it doesn't exist yet. It's still an idea in concept.
Now is the time. I'm not gonna ever say anything bad, but that token is gonna explode one day. So even if you had some
I saw it at like
them,
a penny right now, right? What's it at?
yeah, it's a penny right now, but that's not the same token. That's the Safe Exchange coin. The SafeX token hasn't been listed yet, so that's a big deal. Right now, you can exchange the Safe Exchange coins for SafeX token and SafeX cash right now, using their new wallet.
Okay, I want to check it because I like decentralized marketplaces. I like things that are like decentralized replacements for things like even like what Augur's doing with prediction markets and Steam's doing with blogging. I'm really interested in these platforms, and I want people to check them out. You know, like everybody says everything's a scam, and that's fine. Everything is a scam. No, it is though. Everything. If you were to live long enough. If you were to live long enough, everything would have scammed you on your way here. You know what I mean? Even that horse and buggy you invested in was a scam if you think about it. If you live long enough, everything disappoints you.
You called out BitConnect from the beginning. That's what I really like about you. You were there saying, you know what? This ain't gonna work. Dude, it's not sustainable.
Fuck, dude, imagine if I sold out. I could have had so many people in that stupid downline, dude. It was so disgusting. That scam was so. And now I think the new one's that Initiative Q, where they're just trying to collect emails and they're offering like $2,000 to everybody. It's fucking weird, man.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's like, come on, that's not sustainable.
yeah, that's totally gonna work. And I don't know. But like what I'm saying is you have to give everything. You know? Everything that you believe's worthwhile a shot. That's all. Like even if it might be a scam, I want a decentralized marketplace to exist. So I have to hope that it works, you know. And if not this, then something else.
A lot of us do. Yeah, I think the community is just waiting for it. You know, why would you want to move your money onto a BitPay card or an e-card or any of those kind of cards? You know, and have to pay an extra fee on top of that. So, yeah, shopping with Bitcoin directly is definitely a big part of the future, and not just Bitcoin, but all the other cryptos out there that are I'd have to say within a certain amount of time. But yeah, definitely at least the top 20 cryptos.
Yeah, I like the non-fungible ones too. I'd like to see like more decentralized marketplaces for these collectibles on the blockchain. You know, where people can trade Decentraland properties and crypto kitties. So I could trade you a couple crypto kitties for some property.
It's like called Swift Demand. And I haven't seen their token launch or anything yet. But right now, you can do things and earn money and shop directly on their market with just doing like tasks and stuff.
Oh, cool. See, yeah, that's where people are going to gamify it. That's attention economy. You're going to gamify the user's interaction.
Yeah, and then they get rewards.
All right, man. Well, look, thanks for coming on, bro. I appreciate it. I got all your links in the description box below. People can check you out on Twitter. Shout out to my sponsors, Satoshi's Ball, December 15th. That's going to be in Ottawa at the Collab Space. Shout out to Just Learn Crypto. Stroken Tokens, that's strokentokens.com, where they're going to be decentralizing the crowdsourcing ability to create bounties for adult content creators. So shout out to all my sponsors who make all this crap possible for me to just open source my podcast to anybody and everybody that wants to come on. So let everybody know a little bit again about yourself if you want, if we left anything out, what anything they should know, where they can find you or whatever, and we'll wrap it up here.
My name is Joey Crypto. I am the CEO of SAFeth. That's SAFETH. Our call letters are SAF, and our website is safexmarket.io.
All right, guys, check them out. Check it out. Let me know what you think in the description box below. Pound that thumbs up button. Click subscribe. Flick the alert bell. It's right next to subscribe so you get notifications every time I go live. I will be doing a video streaming with strangers once a day, every day till forever, I guess, until people stop wanting to talk to me. So book yourself a time to come on the podcast. Head on over to my Twitter at Kenneth Bozak, and the pinned tweet. Click on the link. You can book yourself to come on and talk about your project, your thoughts, or just to shoot the shit in general. Maybe you're new to the space. I can even give you some kind of consulting and how to get in, how to get out, how to use crypto. We can do it live on the air and for free. All right, Crypto Joey, thanks again, bro. Have a day.
You too.